Hello and welcome. This is a very special episode of Lounge with Fatima. We will be talking about a personality who made her mark across Pakistan in her short but meaningful life. It reminds me of my father's favorite song by Frank Sinatra, My Way. She certainly lived her life to the fullest, but definitely her way. I feel elated to be called her family. Khalida Riasat, a veteran Pakistani television actress who dominated the screen in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. She is fondly remembered even today by many. Some of the iconic PTV dramas where she proved her versatility are Naamdar, Half Plate, Padosi, Tum Jasaktay Ho, Bandish, and many, many more. My guest in today's webcast, reminiscing the bold and the very beautiful late Khalida Riasat, are some of the people closest to her. Her older sister and my aunt, Tahira Khan, who has served as an educationist and social worker for many years. Her friend first and a co-worker, Yousuf Shakeel Sahab. Shakeel Uncle, as I like to call him, is a veteran actor and a well-known name in Pakistan entertainment industry. Been awarded Sitara Imtiaz and Pride of Performance. Today we will talk to him as a friend of Khalda Riyasat. My next guest has joined us from New York, is a Pakistani American television and film director and producer, Mehreen Jabbar. Welcome, Mehreen.
Thank
Mehreen's hard-hitting films and TV series for Pakistani and South Asian television has won several awards for her work, and she has also served as a jury member in many local and international film festivals. Lastly, and most importantly, her son, Raza Faisal. I'm not going to get into Raza's credentials. I like to call him my brother from another mother. And today we will talk about the person who connects us. Thank you all for joining today, and I cannot wait to hear about all the wonderful stories. I'm going to start with her closest relation, her older sister Tahira Khan. Papa, we have talked about this so many times in our personal space and family gatherings. But today I want everyone watching this to know her as a sister. What was she like growing up? Her likes and dislikes.
Thank you for having me over, Fatma. You know, as a kid, I remember her. She was the baby of the family, and my dear departed sister Papan and I, we used to carry her all the time, and we wouldn't let her go in the garden because what she used to do in the garden, Fatima, she used to eat flowers. You would just go and see her sitting near the flower pots and picking the flowers and just eating them. And nobody could fathom why was she eating flowers. Not that she was hungry, but she just loved it. I'd come to the stage when she was about 8, 9 years old. She used to look up to us, wanted to dress up like us, but we always wanted her to be like this little girl, dressing up in her dresses and not letting her go out. Somehow she had become close to a cook of ours, and she used to make rotis. So Khalda ended up calling her Atta Ama, matlab atta flour mama. And we really couldn't stand her because by the time she would finish, she would grab Khalda and just take her to her place. And Papa and I would run after her that don't take her sister away. That's how she was when she was a baby. She did very well in school, but you could see that she was very different. She was very different, and as she was growing up, she was very different from all of us as well. I got married in 1964, so she was very young. She was barely 7, 8 years old at that time. But every time I would come back to Pakistan, I would see a different Khalda. She was tiny compared to some of us because some of us were very huge, and she was a tiny girl. She was very determined, and she was very blasé about what she wore, how she behaved, with us. And He loved her.
Of course.
Sorry about that.
No, this is exactly why we are here today.
Then she went to college. And then I had heard that she was going to be working on television. Television was something very new in Karachi. So I was visiting. And then I heard this young, handsome man who looked like Tony Curtis. And she was going to be acting with him. That was, of course, Shakeel. And the play was called Naamdar. And we were all agog. How can she act? Because she was very blunt, she was very blasé, she was very matter of fact. And we said, how can she act? And I feel that all her life, I didn't see a lot of her plays, but all her life she acted as she was. She was
Right.
no different in life as she was on the camera. Maybe for some of the roles, she acted. But as I knew her, she was like that. She wasn't naughty, but she was at times very, let's say, witchy. She was like a witch. Sometimes she would pick up the phone. If the phone rang and if she didn't want to talk to that person, she would pretend it was me because she and I sounded very much alike. So she would say, "Nahi, मैं ताहिरा बोल रही हूँ. Khalida is gone. She's not at home. She won't be available for the 2-3 days." And then she would put the phone down and she said, "I put you on a spot right now because now somebody will say that I spoke to you." So she did things like that. When she was doing Naamdar, it was impossible to go out with her anywhere because on Tariq Road, people would, grab her and she would sometimes wear a chadar, sometimes she would cover her face. I'm sure deep inside she enjoyed that also, but she hated being recognized. And I remember somehow she got into a friendship with TJ. And TJ's place was like in a little house just behind Tariq Road. And the moment we would go shopping, particularly Metro shoe shop, when we would go there and people would come after her, she would run. She said, "Chalo, chalo, TJ ke paas chalte hain. Let's go there. Let's hide there." Yes, she was. I don't think very many people know that she was with me in Canada and how it happened because she used to look after your cousin and my son Adnan when he was about 10 months old. And one day we were just sitting there and uh, Adnan was very close to her and Anwar said, "Why don't you come with us to Canada?" And she said, "Yeah." And 4 days
Always
later,
ready. Yes.
yes, 4 days later, we were heading for Canada. I think she was a little unhappy there. She didn't enjoy the weather. It was cold, but she enjoyed the summer very much. A year later, she came back to
Why does that
Karachi.
sound so much like me? I don't
Yeah,
enjoy the weather over here.
yeah, yeah, she hated the weather. Well, I hated it too, but I was there for 20 years, so that's okay. um, about her illness, very few people know this, that she rang me up and she said, "I'm just saying," I was in Karachi, of course, and she said, "I'm just going to the hospital." And I said, "Why? Why are you going to the hospital?" She said, "Oh, I have surgery tomorrow." I said, "What surgery?" She said, "It's a breast surgery. I have a little, what do you call it? A tumor." I said, "How did you know that?" She said, "I don't know, but the doctors have told me." So I said, "Put the phone down and I'm going to make some inquiries." Having worked at AKU, it was easy to get through to Dr. Shaista. And I rang up Dr. Shaista, and Dr. Shaista said, if her tumor or her, I'm forgetting the name, what do you call it?
A lump?
A lump, yes, sorry. If a lump is bigger than a pea, then Tahira, you bring her tomorrow. Getting to see Dr. Shaista was like seeing her in a month's time because she was so busy. And Khalida laughed when I told her, and she said, "It's as big as a pear." And I was just shocked. And we took her the following day, and Shaista was there, and Shaista, I've never seen a doctor come out and cry. Dr. Shaista cried and cried and cried. So that was really at the fourth stage. But the remarkable thing about her was, Fatima, she never complained. She just didn't say anything about her health. And after she had had the chemotherapy and she lost her hair, she put on her scarf and she was everywhere. She was
Of
like
course,
yogurt.
I recall one of the days when I was over to see her with my mother, and she made me try out some of the headpieces that she had. And
Yes,
she was flaunting it, and believe it or not, she pulled that off really well,
yes,
just like
yes,
everything else that she did. Yes.
yes. I was Papan Pupo and I, my older sister Mehreen, we were there with her in the hospital, and we talked, and she was fine till about 2:30. Again, no complaint, nothing, no drama, no filmy dialogues, nothing absolutely. I held on to her hand, and really, I was just pretending to hold her hand, but my hand was actually on her pulse. I was wanting to see that how she's feeling. And then her pulse started going down very much. And I called the doctor and she came. We had already said as a family that we don't want the life-saving devices for her at all. And the doctor was crying, trying to find a way to give her an injection. And then we told her, stop, just let her be. The best part, if I remember, of her is as she was leaving, Fatima and Papan and I both looked at her. And like a shadow came over her, and she looked like 15 years old. There was no pain. There was just, just a gorgeous look on her. And by 6 o'clock, she was gone. It was the most peaceful passing away of our younger sister. She was,
And what a celebration. I mean, like I said, I mean, she lived her life the way she wanted to live in her way. Shakeel uncle, you are without a doubt a family to us, a friend and a co-worker. Uh, please tell us how do you remember her? How do you recall her?
yes, how do you recall?
Yes. How do you remember Khalida Riasat as a friend?
You see, Padma, I knew the family much before I knew Halda. Her first cousin was a great friend of mine, who was a colleague of mine. And she used to come to my house with him. मेरे घर में आम लगे थे, and she would come and pick up the carries. I knew her that way. But then one fine day, I got a call from PTV saying that, we had a serial having, and up here, and we want to introduce you to a new girl, the new heroine. I said, all right. So I went there. Bakhtar Ahmed was the producer of Naamdar. And then I was introduced to Khalida. I said, of course, I know her. But Khalida had a certain stick about her, she would never come straight, and she would have a way of doing things. So she started giving me tantrums by putting on an accent of St. Joseph College and saying, मैंने कहा देखो cut out. So that was, a firework to start with. The producer was very upset. He said, "Yeah, hero heroine मेरा काम करने जा रहे हैं, and they're having a tiff like that." But that's how it started. But over a period of time, when we got rehearsals, and after that, when we started working, it was altogether a different ball game. You know why?
Mm-hmm.
Because before she came in front of the camera, she was also a different girl. But the moment she came in front of the camera, initial stages where she was very nervous. And she said, stop it. She got the recording stopped. She said, I'm very nervous. And then she said, I'm more nervous because I'm working with Shakeel. I've known Shakeel as a person, but here I'm working with him as an actor, and he's overshadowing me, and I'm nervous. But over a period of time, we got along very well, and then she came up with that fright, the camera fright, and then it was all a beautiful rolling. It was altogether a different serial, a different kind of a serial. It was a mystery. Then, after Naamdar, we became good friends. So there's so many layers of Khalda that I know. As a colleague, as a friend, as a person, and as a human being. She had so many layers to her personality. And then a time came when she and I worked in another serial, Sai. And you'll be shocked to know that having started as a hero heroine, Mehreen will be interested to know that Mehreen and Sai, we worked as a father and daughter. And I remember Shahzad Khalid saying that, the opening scene of the serial was that, he said, I don't want the viewers to know that you are father and daughter because everybody knows that you are the hero and heroine. And I give full credit to Khalda Allah that the scene that we did, nobody could ever make out that these two people were generally seen on screen as the hero heroine are here as a father and the daughter. And that scene was altogether a different ball game. She was a very versatile actress, one.
No
One.
doubt.
Number two, her whole work is confined to PTV except for one serial she did for another production. I don't think when you talk about PTV, when you talk about the female actress, so the top five actresses we can think of, she is one of them. Ruhi Banu, Usma Gilani, Khalida Riasat, and one more and two more. That's about all. So she was one of the most strongest actors ever to come and hit the screen as far as Pakistan television is concerned. My friendship with her was altogether on a different scale. She became a family friend, and then we had so much in common. There was a time, interesting thing, there was a time that my family was considering her that I should get married to her also.
Oh, that's some
Which was a
information
big,
coming
which
out
was a
today.
big joke. We said, I told my family, I said, as a father, as a friend is wonderful, but as a wife, I don't think we can do a work can get along. But in all totality, like Tahira said, when she developed this serious problem about her health, that was she
I
was
think
very brave person. She had the same verb with her. She would come over, participate in
I think there is
where
some
you have to
connection
take the
issue.
wig off,
Right.
put it in a bag, and walk out. This is the confidence she had. And she never let the Bimari, she the fact that I was very sorry that I couldn't want to see her towards, but she would not allow other people to come and see her, and she never allowed me to come and see her towards the end. But that was a great personal loss that was lost Khalda like that, in a very sad way.
Absolutely.
There's so much I can
Absolutely.
keep on talking about Khalda for hours together, all together. There's so
Of
much
course.
more. And
Of course.
of all the nieces and nephews, you were the one who was closest looking to Khalda. You remember when
I
I saw
always
you
take
first
that as a
time, I said you
compliment.
were Khalda's niece because so much of close resemblance with Khalda she had. You looked
Thank
a
you. I
lot like
always take
her.
that as a compliment, Shakeel uncle. Thank you so much. Mehreen, Ab Tum Jasaktay Ho. This was back in 95. Why did you think of
Mhm.
casting her and any fond memories from the time working with her?
So, thank you, firstly, for inviting me to this uh, remembrance, and it's great because it's funny because I knew Khalda, and I'm not going to call her Khalda ji because once I did, and she got angry with me. Uh, I only knew her for 10 months, and but I have never forgotten about her, which is weird. And she is the one who actually launched my career in Pakistan television. There was a script by Khatija Mastoor, Ab Tum Jasaktay Ho, and immediately, I mean, obviously, I had seen Khalda on PTV and loved her work, admired her, and very tentatively, I sent her the script because I wasn't known. It was my first project for TV, and I just sent it to Keme. Okay, maybe she'll say yes, maybe she'll just laugh at me, maybe she'll discourage me. Kya bhej diya? But absolutely, like within I think 2 days, I got a response saying, "Of course, I'll do it." So that was, uh, I said, "Wow, okay." I never met her. Also, I just sent it, and then the second thing was obviously, it was done with Sanya and Humayun. Both, I think it was their first or second projects on television. So we were both newbies. We were both, all three of us were in our early 20s. We were like 22, 23, just starting out. And the three of us were uh, terrified because here was a legend and I was going to go in as a director. They were going to go as the only two actors opposite her because it was a play with just three people in one location. At that time, I don't remember if I knew about her illness, but I knew she was sick, but I didn't know the extent of it. And all I can say is, I mean, we shot, I think, 7 or 8 days. And during that time, never once, as both of you have said, we did not get any inkling that she was unwell, that it affected her work. In fact, she was constantly the energetic, the positive influence, encouraging the three of us nonstop. And in this day and age, as you know, Shakeel Saab knows how our television has degraded and declined, and attitudes and nakhres of stars, young and old. But she was someone who just took us along as a force, despite not knowing us. And in those 8 days, the four of us became family, which is Humayun, Sanya, Khalda, and myself, which went on for months after till she passed away. I think 9 or 10 months after the play was shot. And we continued to visit her after that. And she continued to see us till I think the last maybe month or so. The three of us used to go over, hang out, gappe marte the. Humayun ko, I remember she gave him a big dart because at that time he was dating his wife Samina, and she said, "Don't you dare lead her on and get married to her." So I remember that part, and just she brought so much to that character, and it was my first experience with losing someone who I had become so close to, and again
You were
only
very young at that time.
very I was I think 22, 23. So
Mm.
and it was the first play that came on TV. So it was one of the best ways to start my career, I feel. And I think I wish Humayun had joined us because he would remember so many things we laughed and laughed about. And that's something we shared as we started our careers onwards. And we will never forget her. I'm so sad that this was the only project I managed to do with her because, you don't make them like this anymore.
But you did, and I think this is a moment to celebrate that. And I think it was such a powerful character that she did in that drama. And 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 of course, why not just remember things? And this is exactly why we are here today, is about to talk about the person that each one of you have a connection with. Thank you, Mehreen. Raza, not many icons are remembered even after 24 years of passing, even though you were very young at that time. How does that make you feel that your mother was not only a legendary actress, but being remembered fondly after all these years and still celebrated by friends, colleagues, and fans.
Hi, thank you for having us together today. So it's ironic because if we look at the forum right now, then after Mehreen, I think I was the one who experienced her the least out of all the people right now. Because obviously she passed at 10 when I was 10. So but even those 10 years, I've got some great memories. I've got some obviously painful memories as well, with respect to her illness and her pain. But all in all, what I do remember about her and what I feel good about when I go back into the day and see how my first 10 years went with her, then if you didn't know that she had cancer, if you weren't particularly told that she had cancer, I don't think any normal person would ever be able to tell. She would literally, and this is a term which I recently learned, obviously, when I started working, but she powered through the day. And that's literally what she would do. She would be out and about. She'd wake up and she would go for her treatments. She would fly to different cities for her treatments. She was particularly strict with my studies. I remember days where I would be sitting with a spelling book and I wasn't allowed to go out to play until I got those spellings right, or I got that hijje in Urdu right. So I remember her as a very brave person, someone who had a lot of depth to her. At 10, I wasn't able to realize that depth or understand that depth, but when I look back now, I understand, and it gives more meaning now that I look back at the days that we spent together, or how she would sit on that rocking chair in the house, and the books that she read. So year on year, I just see more depth in her, and then when I get to see people talking about her, it all revalidates all of that. So yeah.
It's also wonderful.
Yeah,
Popo, I'm going to move on to you again. If she was alive today, what is the one thing that you would advise her as an older sister to a younger sister?
Fatma, if you allow me, can I say one more small
Of
incident?
course, please go ahead. Please, Shakeel uncle.
You see, Fatma, Khalida was a very passionate actress. She was very passionate about her work. There's a play she did from Lahore in which she played from young to old role. And, she had a shrill in her voice. But when she came to do the second part of being a mother of a grown-up child, her son was Asif Raza Mir. She took Sendur to get bass in her voice. And that became a talk of the town. And so much so that Madam Noor Jahan called up the producer and he said, "What the hell have you done to this young girl? You allowed her to take Sendur. Sendur is something which can spoil a man's throat. So she said you allowed her to take Sendur just for her to get a bass in her voice. This is how much passionate she was in order to be in the character. She didn't mind having, sort of trickle down a little bit Sendur to get that bass in her voice. So because she was a mother of a grown-up young man. This is how passionate she was about her work. And that's no wonder that's why she was known as, she has been always now classified as one of the top actresses in PTV and top actresses Pakistan has ever produced. We are all very proud of her. We remember her with very pleasant memories. And of course, it makes us sad that we lost her like that.
Thank you so much, Shakeel uncle. Popo, moving on to that, if she was alive today, what is it that one thing you would tell her as an older sister?
It's difficult to say today, but I feel that there were unhappy moments in her life as well, and I feel that she had had some sincere friends, which unfortunately, living away from home, she did not have. So I would have asked her to be careful about her friends. And Mehreen, by the way, I remember you. You came after she passed away, and I remember talking to you.
Yes.
And what I would really wish her to be to see her son and her daughter-in-law right now.
Of course.
That,
And I'm
yeah,
pretty sure she's shining and
yeah,
looking down on whatever's happening and how Raza has progressed in life.
yes, yes, yes.
Shakeel uncle, what is that one thing that you would say to her today if she was sitting right beside you?
What would you say to her if she was alive today and sitting next to you?
Well, there's so much more to say. It's difficult to think of like that. I would say that, Khalda, we love you. We love you as a human being. We love you as an actress. We love you as a friend. And I'm proud to have you as a friend. And we cherish you, your work, your personality, your persona. She was an amazing person. And it is just not a loss that it is our loss. I think it's a loss, nation's loss to have lost her like that. So, Abzada, if
Thank
I
you.
say something more, I start crying actually. I'm
Of
a very
course, of course.
sentimental person.
Yes, I think you all have said so much, and I think all to all those who are going to be watching this, they will know exactly the sentiments behind what we've put up today. Mehreen, is there something else that you would like to add? Something that you probably remember offset, something that you would recall that she had advised you as a
Um,
young girl?
she didn't advise, but I think just by her professionalism, the way she approached the character, the project, was so refreshing to start off with someone like that. I think was an honor for me, and I'm so lucky to have witnessed that. And to keep that, and I mean, she was very funny as well. I remember her humor, and even though Ab Tum Jasaktay is a very serious play, but she used to laugh about her character and make fun of her कि ये क्या spinster औरत ने पागल कर दिया इन दोनों बच्चों को.
I can so imagine her saying that.
She used to be in hysterics. And the thing is, I mean, she also became, even in that short period of time, she was a friend, which is, how long she was like 20 plus years older than me. But I would, if she was alive, I would say, I want to come over and hang out with you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you all for gathering here today to share your thoughts and memories with the late Khalida Riasat. There was no better way to give a tribute to her as a sister, a friend, and above all, a mother. She will be remembered and celebrated and never to be forgotten. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.